It was one of those late afternoons that seemed like any other. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long, golden shadows as I walked down the street. I had no particular destination in mind, my thoughts lost in the noise of my own head, the hum of a busy day. I wasn't looking for anything out of the ordinary, certainly not for the experience I was about to have. The neighborhood was quiet, and there was an eerie stillness in the air, as if the world itself was holding its breath. I had just passed by a few houses when I noticed him, a man, standing at the doorway of his house. He was just leaning there, with the kind of posture that made him seem approachable, casual. He seemed familiar somehow, though I couldn't place him. He had a warm smile, an inviting demeanor that made you want to trust him. I hesitated for a moment, but then he called out, "Hey, you there? Could you come over for a second?" I wasn't sure why I did it, but I found myself walking toward him, drawn by the curiosity of the moment. Maybe it was the loneliness that often crept into my days, or maybe it was the simplicity of his request, but I felt strangely compelled to answer. "What's up?" I asked, my voice unsure but polite. He seemed to sense my hesitation. His smile widened just a bit, enough to reassure me without feeling forced. "I was wondering if you'd help me with something inside. Just need someone to hold the door for a minute while I move some things around." There was something comforting in his tone, a friendliness that made the request feel harmless. I wasn't doing anything important, and the thought of helping someone out, something so simple, really seemed like a good idea. "Sure," I said. "No problem." As soon as I stepped inside, it felt different. The door clicked shut behind me, but the sound was subtle, almost muffled, as if the house itself swallowed the noise. The interior was dim, the only light coming from a small lamp in the corner, casting long shadows on the walls. The air was stale, like it hadn't been disturbed in days. It was strange. For some reason, I felt a twinge of unease, but I brushed it off. It wasn't uncommon for people to have homes that weren't perfectly lit or spotless, I reasoned. "So, what exactly do you need help with?" I asked, my voice sounding louder than I intended in the quiet room. He smiled again, though his eyes were colder now, darker. "I'm just moving a few things around, nothing big. You mind waiting here for a second? I'll be right back." "Sure, no problem," I replied, glancing around. My fingers drummed on my side, my body restless for no particular reason. Something about the stillness of the space, the way the shadows pooled in the corners, made me uncomfortable. He disappeared into another room, and I was left alone, standing in the silence, feeling the weight of it pressing down on me. There was no sound, no noise except for the occasional creak of the floorboards. My heart began to beat a little faster, an instinctual warning I couldn't shake. I looked toward the hallway he had vanished into, wondering why he had taken so long. A strange thought flickered in my mind. What if this wasn't what it seemed? What if this was some kind of setup, a trap? I pushed the thought away, dismissing it as paranoia. He was just a guy, probably just someone trying to move furniture or do some housework. Nothing more to it. But then, there was a sound from behind me, a soft shuffle, like someone dragging their feet across the floor. My body tensed, every hair on the back of my neck standing at attention. I turned around slowly, my breath catching in my throat. The man was standing there, no longer smiling. His eyes were empty, as if the warmth he had shown me earlier had been wiped away, replaced with something darker, something that sent a chill crawling up my spine. He didn't speak at first, just stood there, staring at me. The silence stretched on, thick and uncomfortable. I opened my mouth to say something, anything, but no words came. Instead, he stepped forward, and a wave of panic surged through me. The hairs on my arms prickled as his figure loomed closer, his presence filling the room in a way that felt suffocating. "I think it's time you stayed," he said, his voice low and slow. It wasn't a question. It was a command. I didn't understand. I couldn't understand. My mind was racing, my heart thudding painfully in my chest. I needed to leave. I needed to get out. But my body didn't listen. My legs felt like they were frozen in place, like I was paralyzed, unable to move even as the panic clawed at me, urging me to run. He reached for me, his hand brushing against my arm, and I flinched, recoiling from his touch. But it was too late. He had already stepped in too close, his body crowding mine in a way that felt suffocating. "Why don't you relax?" he murmured, his voice now soft and almost patronizing. He pushed me back toward the wall, and I stumbled, my mind racing for a way out. I felt something snap inside of me. The realization hit like a punch to the gut. I was in danger. This wasn't a friendly neighbor, a man simply asking for help. This was something far more sinister, and I had walked right into it. A surge of adrenaline coursed through me. I wasn't going to be a passive participant in whatever he had planned. I wasn't going to stand here and let him trap me in this house. I pushed against his chest with every ounce of strength I had. "No. Let me go." But he didn't budge. His grip tightened, his fingers digging into my arm as he pulled me closer, ignoring my struggles. He chuckled darkly, the sound hollow and empty. "I told you you're staying," he said, the words dripping with an eerie calm. It wasn't just physical force I was fighting against now. It was his presence, the way he seemed to engulf everything around him. The house felt even darker, the shadows longer, as if it were conspiring with him to trap me here. There was no escape. I was alone. My breath came in ragged gasps, my pulse hammering in my ears. The room seemed to close in on me, the walls pressing tighter and tighter. I had to think. I had to do something. The fear was overwhelming, suffocating me, but I fought to hold on to my sense of clarity. The window. The window. It was on the other side of the room. If I could just get to it, maybe I could scream. Maybe someone would hear. I gathered what little strength I had left, twisting in his grip, using my elbow to strike out at his side. He grunted but didn't let go. With no other option, I kicked my foot out, aiming for his knee. It connected, and for a split second he faltered. I pushed myself forward, sprinting toward the window, but just as I reached it, he lunged, grabbing me by the waist and slamming me back into the wall. The impact knocked the wind out of me, and I gasped for air, my hands grasping at anything that could help me escape. "I told you," he whispered again, his voice like ice against my skin. "You're not going anywhere." I struggled, fighting, screaming, but my voice was nothing against the quiet of the house, against the suffocating grip of his hands. I could feel my body giving in, my muscles weakening with each passing moment. I couldn't keep fighting forever. I was trapped. And as I stood there, pinned against the wall, the weight of everything crashed down on me. This wasn't just a bad decision. This was a nightmare that had started the moment I had trusted the wrong person, walked into the wrong house. And now it was too late.